You can be louder than that. Come on, la la, la 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 just you. One more time. La 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 la
Oh, thank TGIS. Thank God it is Shabbat. Oh, I know some of you came in, they said, Rabbi, I just needed this Shabbat. And if you needed Shabbat, well, you're in the right place. And that's what's so beautiful about Shabbat. It's a special place. It's a place in time. It's also a physical place. Some of you, I know, the moment you even just pull into the parking lot, you can start to feel Shabbat enter inside of you. And maybe that's because all during the week, we're complicated. There's parts of us that are very logical and try to focus on reason and figure things out. And there's parts of us that are so emotional and we're being torn this way with our emotions. And yet to live wisely, we need to be able to not fight the contradictions, but live in the harmony of the two together. And we can do that over Shabbat. We can do that this evening as we pray together. So let's find that peace of Shabbat, that shalom, that shlemut, that wholeness. May we each be blessed with it, and let's give that blessing to one another as we sing.
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom.
At this time, I'd like to invite Alicia Lippman to come on up. Some of you might know her recognize her, and she's going to share her musical gift with us. Some of you in the Temple Music Sharing Group are able to play together and perform together, and you understand that music helps us reset. And sometimes I'm on autopilot, just going through the motions. And the internet is working, and then it doesn't seem to be working so well, and then all of a sudden you realize it's not working at all. So what do? This is what I do. I go over, I unplug it. I don't know how this works. I say a quick prayer, and I plug it back in. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, it works. And if that works for the internet, then God, please, please, please let that work for us. So give yourselves a moment to unplug and to connect through this beautiful music. Elech Hamda, you can find the words on page 11.
Start, Yai Lai. Yai, yai, lai, lai. Hamda libi. Join with us. Ele Hamda libi. Ele Hamda libi. Ele Hamda libi. Everyone sing Ele Hamda libi. Ele Hamda libi.
Yasher Koach, thank you for filling our hearts with beautiful music and song. There's other things that fill our hearts, and those are the simchas, the joyous moments in our lives. However, sometimes our hearts are full of that schmutz, and we need to make a little room. So let's take a breath in, and let's breathe out all the oys from this past week. Oy. And now we have room. Now there's room to celebrate. I know we have a lot of things to celebrate this evening. Do we have any birthdays? Yes? Oh, happy birthday, Steph. Happy birthday. Yes?
My birthday is Thursday.
Oh, happy upcoming birthday, Shelly. Yeah, other birthdays coming up? Yes. Do we have any anniversaries this evening? Birthday? Yes, of course. Your birthday's coming up, and we're going to celebrate it. Oh, it was January 12th. Excellent. Happy birthday. Yes. Other birthdays? Oh. And I'm going to ask, how old are you going to be? 9 years old. Oh, don't we all wish we could be 9 years old, possibly? Yes, I see it's your anniversary. 54 years. Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. Do we have other simcha moments you'd like to name and share and capture? Who is here for the first time this evening? Welcome. You are in for a treat, and we also get to enjoy you singing with us and celebrating and making Shabbat such a beautiful moment in our lives. I'm so glad you're here this evening. Who else is here for the first time? Yes, we're glad. This is a community that prays together, that supports one another, and we are honored to have you with us. I know we have someone else who's here this evening, who's visiting from Toronto. Hi, Carol. Shabbat Shalom, Carol. I just want to say that we're so happy you're visiting our synagogue. I know you're dear friends with Liz, and you've been friends for many, many years, and colleagues working not just together, but on behalf of all of us as Reformed Jews, both with the URJ and the social, as chair of the Social Action Committee. And you, Carol, are the chair for the World Union of Progressive Judaism that serves almost 2 million Jews and over 1,000 congregations in over 50 countries.
Wow.
So we are so honored you're with us this evening. And for all these wonderful moments and more, for all these bright spots that fill us with joy, I invite you now to please rise if you're able for the Oh, yes. Oh, and of course, please rise. We have a dear, dear friend,
From Memphis,
Joan Arnold
Tennessee.
from Memphis, Tennessee, who came here, and she had all these amazing plans, but her number one priority was to join us here at Temple and to be with me and my family and our Temple family. Joan Arnold, we're so happy you're here this evening. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheanu v'kimah
בזמן הזה.
אמן.
Take a moment, introduce yourself to someone you haven't seen in a while or someone new, and wish them a shalom aleichem. This evening we have Beth and Barry Cohen who are sponsoring our oneg this evening in honor of your birthday. Happy birthday. In addition to birthday candles, we are delighted to have you light our Shabbat candles. And I just want to share one idea with you as you light these candles, that sometimes if there's one source of light, it creates a lot of light, but it also tends to create shadow and darkness right next to it. And yet the best way to eliminate those shadows and to help the shadows disappear into the light is to light multiple candles so it's mutually illuminating. So we have more than one candle here. You have the Shabbat candles, the birthday candles, and you are the best example of congregants who joined our community with just full hearts and embraced yourselves, and I feel like you've been here for years and years and years already. And that's the blessing I have for all of us here this evening, that by sharing our light with one another, the shadows will disappear into the light. If you could please light the Shabbat candle. Maybe.
We join together with the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. We go from strength to strength, from mitzvah to mitzvah. Barry, I'd like you to hold up this sweet grape juice to celebrate all the beautiful moments in our lives before we make kiddush, which is not just a blessing on the grape juice. It's a blessing on the world. I can't help but think in our Torah portion this week, Vayera, God introduces God's name to us for, if you will, the very first time. He says, before I was known as El Shaddai, the Almighty, but now my name is Adonai. But it's not really Adonai. The way to pronounce it would be more similar to Havaya, which sounds like this word breath. God says, I'm the breath, I'm the source of life. And when we recognize and we feel that God is so intimately close to us. And at the very same time, that breath is something that's interchanged amongst every human being, every animal, every creature in this world. Every time we breathe, we feel intimately connected with all of God's creations and all of the world. So in this way, as we lift up our cup and we say this kiddush together, it's a blessing on the breathtaking world we live in. Together on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kosho, v'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shat kodeshecha be'ahava u'ratzon yirchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
Please have a sip of the sweet grape juice, and we wish you mazel tov, and we wish you a happy birthday, and you may have a seat. Yasher Koach.
Thank you.
We continue to sing out. If you turn to page 12, these words of the Hu Naranana, they remind us that sometimes we sing because we feel a feeling so deep within us. And there's other times in our lives we don't know what we're feeling, and then we sing, and through the song, through these words, our emotions and the feelings, they come and burst forth.
Page 12. Lechu neranena, lai, 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 Adonai, Adonai, Nadia, Naharia, Mitzur Yishkeinu, let us sing unto God, the maker of all, sure and strong. Let all of creation from mountains to sea hear our song. Everyone, let me run in Adonai, for all of the wonders in all of God's light, we rejoice. So now let's listen with all of our hearts to hear God's voice.
Today at lunch, I was asked, how am I doing? Not in general, but in terms of my New Year's resolutions. How are you all doing with your New Year resolutions? Great.
And I realized I didn't make any resolutions, which is why I'm smiling. But,
Doing great.
But I did. I made a few changes. I noticed a lot of the social media I was listening to was people critiquing this and critiquing that, and there's certainly an important place for that. But it didn't fill me in a healthy way. And so I just started switching and listening to different people. And just the other day I was sharing, and I said, oh my gosh, I love the way this one person is amplifying this voice, is cheerleading for somebody else. And not only brought up this one person, but in the same time brought up themselves as well. And it lifted me up. And it was a reminder that my wife reminded me, yes, there's a lot of people out in the world who are doing that. And that alone was very inspiring. So I encourage you now
Right there.
to think about the people and the places that you want to cheerlead for, that you want to support with all your might. And not only does that help them, but it helps lift us up. And when we do this, and we shep nachas, which literally means to scoop up nachas and enjoyment, another way of understanding it leads to our own well-being. So this is what the heavens do. Yismechu hashamayim. You can find the words on page 13, where we're all lifted up with that joy.
ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ כי רע היה ומלוא ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ כי רע היה ומלוא everyone ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ כי רע היה ומלוא ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ כי רע היה ומלוא your voices even louder
I have a new understanding of these words from the Psalms, or Zeruah, that's on page 14, about planting these seeds of light and going around and doing these righteous deeds. There's a story of a young girl, and she took upon herself the mitzvah of baking cupcakes and muffins for the new neighbors that moved into the neighborhood. And she was still learning how to do it, and it was a big mess, and she had to not just buy the food, but she wanted to make it from scratch, and then she had to clean all the dishes, and it was a lot of work. And her uncle once said, it's really sweet that you do this, but for probably the same amount of money, you could just go to Publix. They make really good baked goods. You could buy some muffins, and she said, Uncle David, this is my mitzvah. Why would I pay somebody else money to do my mitzvah? And if we could only own the tasks, the responsibilities, the deeds that have been gifted to us and see them not as burdens, but rather as blessings, then we truly understand these words. Or Zeruah, page 14.
everyone, every voice matters. Or Zarua. Or Zarua Tzadik. Uli Shrileh Simcha.
This past Sunday, we've had another opportunity to build and nourish the relationship we have with the church in Riviera Beach, the Christ Family Worship Assembly Church. And in honor of Martin Luther King Day, this past Friday, we had some of their members come here and sing songs and teach us. And this past Sunday, we had many of our temple congregants go and join together for a service where we were able to not just be ambassadors of our temple, ambassadors of the Jewish people, but really to be ambassadors and to be bridge walkers and to connect and to cherish what it means to be made in the image of God. So at this time, as we welcome into the Shabbat, I'd like to invite those of you who were there this past Sunday, if you're here, to please meet me in the back, and you can turn to the words of Lecha Dodi on page 12.
Lecha Dodi likakala, Yavabai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Lecha Dodi likakala, Yavabai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'tzibur echad, Yishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, v'shemu tiferet v'litzilha. Everyone, lecha dodi likakala, Yavabai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Lecha dodi likakala, Yavabai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Verse 2, Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nehelcha, Ki mekor havracha, Merosh mikedem lesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha dodi likakal, Yavabai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Lecha dodi likakal, Yavabai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Please rise if able as we welcome the Shabbos bride. Boi v'shalom, Ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'tzola, Toch emunei ha'usegula, Boi chala, Boi chala. Lecha dodi likakala, Yavabai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Lecha dodi likakala, Yavabai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Lecha dodi likakala, Yavabai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. standing as we turn to the Baruch
join
Hu.
to the Baruch Hu. You can find these words, of course, a reminder that we turn to God and we recognize each and every day in all our different ways we can see God as the source of our blessings together. Seated. The Ma'ariv, our Ravim prayer, you can find the words on page 30, helps us get in touch with the world that God actually created. A world that's not lit up at night with lights, a world that has a natural ebb and flow, a world that embraces both light and darkness. And I'd like to share with you now a poem that captures this spirit, a poem by one of my favorite poets, Mary Oliver. It's called The Sun. Have you ever seen anything in your life more wonderful than the way the sun, every evening, relaxed and easy, floats towards the horizon and into the clouds or the hills or the rumbled sea, and it's gone, and how it slides again out of the blackness every morning on the other side of the world like a red flower, streaming upward on its heavenly oils, say, on a morning in early summer, at its perfect imperial distance. And have you ever felt for anything such wild love? Do you think there is anywhere, in any language, a world billowing enough for the pleasure that fills you as the sun reaches out, as it warms you, as you stand there empty-handed? Or you have too turned from this world? Or have you too gone crazy for power and for things?
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Of that idea of power over things. When our next prayer is just about love. Just about love. Yet love is everything. I invite you all to come to my concert on February 13th before the Valentine's Day, because it's a moment for you to show love. Not just for the temple, for me, I'd love to see you, but really for yourself. How many times do we give ourselves the gift of just stopping, of just enjoying? We go through the seasons of love, fall, winter, spring, and summer, that we know life dances through. These moments where we feel that we can't hold on to anything, and we hope that the seeds that we have planted will have life, will be worthwhile. And then we know that we might have to work extra hard if it doesn't bloom, the things that we plant. So this next prayer about love, Ahavat Olam, reminds us that we can continue to show up. We can continue to give ourselves the love that we need. And right now, as we pray this prayer, give yourself a little extra love. Maybe put your hand on your heart. And if you're uncomfortable doing that, realize that you're enough. And the love that you give yourself means everything, and God knows that. Join with me. Ahavat Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadta, otanu limadta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shofteinu, uv'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yabeinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatecha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Page 34, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Continue on page 36, the V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד בידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
As we turn to the Michamocha on page 40, I see Miriam maybe as the big sister, but in many ways she was the motherly, loving and caring and just trying to do everything she could to save her people, Am Yisrael, the Israelites. And yet at some point, when she declared and she cried out to God, she had to realize, God, I did the best I could. I'm leaving the rest up to you. And I hope each and every one of us, just as we talked about, we give ourselves not just self-love, but we realize we really are trying our very, very best. And God, we thank you for doing the rest. Together, Michamocha.
La echad Adonai Yaakov, גאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה Adonai, גאל ישראל.
I'm fascinated with stories of mighty individuals who share their own vulnerabilities. And one of these is Rabbi Arthur Waskow, that some of you may be familiar with. He shares that it took him a long time to learn to be loved and how to love. And he says he'd been known to be sharp and smart and wise, but really not so loving. These are his own words. I learned it from my brother, who died 11 years ago, and from my wife, Phyllis. But it took a long time. And I don't recommend it taking such a long time. It shouldn't take so long for most people. And I think the only way to learn is to be loved and to fully receive that love. And then, only then, you reach the stage of truly being able to love others. As we sing these words, Hashki Venu, the Jewish lullaby, a prayer we say each and every night, and we feel God's love embracing us, watching over us, protecting us. Let's receive that love fully and wholeheartedly so we can wake up in the morning able to share that love with others. Together on page 42.
When I lay down at night, when I rest my head, oh God, watch over me. And when the morning comes, we thank the Holy One and pray for peace. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'haviteinu shomreinu lechayim. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'haviteinu shomreinu lechayim. Ushmor tzedekenu, uvoenu, l'chaim u'shalom, l'tov v'yarut. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'haviteinu shomreinu lechayim. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'haviteinu shomreinu lechayim. When I lay down at night, when I rest my head, oh God, watch over me.
Probably one of the most challenging quotes that I love, but it gives me a little kick in the pants every time I hear it, is this: that those people who do not know how to enjoy the present moment should not be entrusted to make plans for the future. And that's it. And that's Shabbat. So those of you who are visiting from out of town, those of you who are learning to really just embrace this moment and are excited to eat the delicious foods we have at our oneg, it's a mitzvah on Shabbat to embrace it fully. So let's do that. Let's revel in the Shabbat. Let us feel the joy of Shabbat. Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. לעשות את השבת גדולותיו ולתעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. Shabbos, all right, come on. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת גדולתם ולתעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לגדולתם ולתעולם.
This gift of Shabbat is more and more precious each and every day. And yet, the reason it's even more precious is in the context of our history. Right now, we're reliving what it was like to be slaves in Egypt. And the gift of Shabbat is something that people who are enslaved don't get to experience. And even this day, there's millions of people still enslaved in the world. So as we stand up for the Amidah, on page 46 in just a moment, we stand up that each and every divine human being should be able to experience the freedom and the joy of the day of rest, like Shabbat and freedom. Please rise, page 46. We turn our hearts east towards Jerusalem. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh ha-Shabbat. And on this Shabbat, we add another special blessing because on Sunday evening, we begin the new month of Shvat. And on page 56, there's a special blessing. And may this new month be a month of renewal, just like the new moon that continues to grow each and every day, quietly, gently, and yet beaming with more and more light. May we, too, merit, may we be zocheh, to reflect and to be vessels of light and to grow each and every day.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu שתחדש עלינו את החודש הזה לטובה ולברכה.
please continue with your own prayers, the prayers found in the Siddur, the prayer book, or the prayers found in your heart. In a moment, we'll join together for the prayer for peace on page 60.
You may be seated. Shalom Rav, HaYisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, HaYisrael Amcha, Tasim.
I invite you now to please rise if you're able and join me in the center as we come together to pray for our own health and healing of mind, body, spirit, and heart. And if you are seeking health and healing for yourself or for others, then I invite you now to come closer, surround, or even come underneath our healing talit. You may also share love gesture, a healing hand. And I invite you to think of those loved ones that we care so much about who are in need of our prayers. Picture them, hold them in your heart, and let us pray together. God, sometimes we feel stuck and burdened with so many choices to make. Sometimes we feel like we can't breathe or we don't know where to turn. Give us some room to breathe. Help us see new possibilities that maybe we can't see in the present moment. Help us pay attention to the loving hands, the kind gestures, the healing touches that surround us. And let us be grateful for those blessings which we are able to incorporate during these most challenging times. Ki ata shameh tefillah, Baruch atah Adonai rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, the God who heals. give a loving hug or a wink or a handshake and share that loving, healing touch. Yeah. Some of you may be familiar with the following joke. There's a man who is having nightmares. The nightmares primarily constituted that underneath his bed, there was a creepy guy who was just laying under his bed every single night. And somehow, he knew this was irrational, and yet it kept him awake every night, and he didn't know what to do. So finally, he found out who was the best therapist in town, calls him up, makes an appointment, meets with the therapist, and he says, "Can you help me?" And the therapist says, "Yes, I can." "Okay, what's the procedure?" "Well, you'll need to meet with me for a one-on-one session. It's $300 an hour. We'll meet twice a week, and it'll take about 3 years." So the man very quickly does the math, and he says, "Thank you, but no thank you." But he's still paranoid and wasn't sleeping at night. Well, a few months later, the therapist happened to bump into this gentleman. They were at a restaurant, and there he was. And this man, his face was glowing. He had such energy and such a calm demeanor. And he said, "You look great. How are you feeling?" "I'm great. I'm sleeping at night." "What'd you do?" He's like, "Well, I went to the rabbi." "Really? What did the rabbi tell you to do?" "The rabbi told me, cut off the bottom part of the bed so the bed's right on the floor. Now I don't have anything to worry about, and I can sleep. So, living with fear, it's a real thing, and it's worse than just losing a good night's sleep. It prevents us from being ourselves, prevents us from taking chances and making real changes in the world. And it prevents us from loving others and loving life. But there are things we should be scared of: illness and pain, nuclear war, civil war, ignorance, corruption, sharks, alligators, anti-Semitism. Need I go on? And Pharaoh, in our Torah portion, Ve'era, he represents the first, but certainly not the last, maniacal, cruel, evil ruler to enslave, persecute, and dehumanize not just our people, but peoples around the world. And like Moses, who ran away, sometimes we have no choice but to save ourselves, cutting off toxic people. And you may have heard quotes like these. You can find lots of these. "If you walked away from a toxic, negative, abusive, one-sided, dead-end relationship or friendship, you won." Or this one, even Gandhi, right, who said, "I will not allow anyone to walk in my mind with dirty feet." But what happens in our Torah portion is that Moses does not have the luxury of staying away. God instructs him to go back. He has to go back and encounter Pharaoh, literally and figuratively. And at the first official confrontation with Pharaoh, what was the very first miracle? Now, we have the 10 plagues that we often think about, but even before that, there was a miracle. And in some ways, it doesn't seem nearly as grand as turning the Nile River into blood. What was it? It was the staff, the stick that Moses had, turning into a snake. It sounds kind of puny compared to the other miracles, but in some ways, it was the most important. Let's figure out why. We have to understand, we go back just a few verses, and we see what the stick and snake symbolize. When Moses was at the burning bush and is commanded by God to lead the Israelites to freedom, and Moses questions whether he is the right man for the job, and he questions whether these Israelites will even listen to him and accept his authority, God tells him, "Moses, Moshe, take the staff in your hand, throw it down, And miraculously, it turns into a snake. This is not just a cool party trick. And it's not just a sign that God is with Moses and that this is the proof that we should all believe what Moses has to say. There's something deeper going on. It's something that Moses needs to learn. What is it? Moses lacks confidence. He doesn't know how to confront dangerous things. When the stick becomes a snake, there's the most beautiful verse, because Moses again flinches and turns away. And God says, go pick up the snake. It's like a dare. What was that TV show when they would make you eat bugs and do all these dangerous things, right? Fear Factor. This was like the first edition of Fear Factor. Pick up the snake. Grab the snake by the tail. And the moment that Moses grabs the snake, he becomes courageous and it turns back into a stick. This is the deep message for Moses, a lesson for us for facing danger. To not fear standing up to Pharaoh. That was the big miracle. It takes not just chutzpah, you got to be meshuggah, you have to be crazy, right, to go and stand up to Pharaoh. Something that seems scary can be encountered, approached, and we learn to lean into it and grab it by its tail, it can turn back into a stick. The object is no longer dangerous. Not only is it now no longer dangerous, but it becomes his staff, something he can lean on, something that helps him walk, something that helps him on his journey, something used to perform all those other miracles. A tool to help lead everyone towards freedom. We too have many fears, some real and some imagined. And God, just like God tells Moses not to be scared of those things, we too have things in our lives we don't want to touch, we don't want to confront, we don't even want to look at. Because from far away, it can look gigantic and ferocious, but the moment we lean into it a little bit and we approach the snake, we realize it might just be a stick. When we define something that scares us, we limit its power over us. If there's something we're anxious about and it is getting in our way, we take what we are anxious about and we define it, because when we define it, we put limits on it. There's a tendency not to speak about it, like Voldemort from Harry Potter, and it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And as soon as you start talking about it, you cut it down to size, and you're not afraid of it because it's now little pieces, and you are braver and you're able to tackle each of those little pieces. And when you do this, you realize there is more to you than you know, and less to the problem than you thought. You can break it down into smaller problems, and you can deal with it. You don't get less frightened, you get more courageous. We give the snake too much power, too much credit, and we don't look at Pharaoh as a real obstacle as long as you're an ambassador of God. And God tells Moses, take the staff that turned into a snake and now bring that to Pharaoh. Show it to Pharaoh, because this is the only approach that will allow you to stand up and lead us to freedom. I want to share with you a last idea from Rabbi Lauren Tuchman. She's the first blind female rabbi, and she suggests that Moses had his own fears, whether real or imagined, due to his speech impediment. When Moses questions God, God replies, I made you in my image, and I want you to thrive authentically as you are. And I will make it possible for you to communicate through reasonable accommodation. And there Aaron comes along. And God says, Aaron will be your ambassador. Aaron will be your communicator. And Aaron will be your translator. But I still need you, Moses. And I believe in you and your potential. And that's essential if we want to confront the pharaohs in our life. So I want to end with number one, knowing that God believes in you more than you know can help you become even more courageous. Two, realizing that you don't have to get less frightened to get more courageous. And number three, defining and naming your fears can help cut them down to size. May we all be blessed with the courage to stand up to Pharaoh, to take on any snakes, and walk through any sea or cross any bridge. May we be blessed to get to the other side of fear and not let fear prevent us from the most important things in life.
Amen. most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side of fear. Kol ha'olam kulo, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, kol ha'olam kulo, kol ha'olam kulo, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל. The most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side of fear. The most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side of fear. Thank you, Alicia. All right.
I know some of you are here this evening just for this moment to recite Kaddish and to remember loved ones. I've heard that death has nothing to do with going away. The sun sets and the moon sets, but they're not gone. So even if we can no longer hold and touch and hug and kiss those loved ones, we can still feel their love. We can still continue those conversations, maybe no longer face to face, but heart to heart. We remember the recent losses in our community. Remember Marcus Friedman, husband of Audrey Kaplan Friedman, Mark Goldstein, brother of Marjorie Berg, and Eileen Green, sister of Joel Hart, and M. Bruce Grodner, mother of Marjorie Housen, who passed away this week. If and when I share the name of a loved one, I invite you to please rise so you can feel the love and the support of our community. We remember those who passed away in seasons past at this time. Samuel Abrams, Reba Ansel, Kathleen Barris Glickman, Louis Berkman, Essie Blatt, Ellen Bloomberg, Max Borenstein, Michael Cohen, Maurice J. Cooper, Sylvia Copeland, Edward Eisinger, Sylvia Epstein, Rosalind Fader, Hyman Feinstein, Robert Fink, Philip Fisher, Harold Goldstein, Phyllis Goodman, William Halpern, Jacob Heitner, Theodore Held, Martin Hoffinger, Tilly Kaplan, Estelle Cashton, Sidney Krippel, Shirley Langfuss, Mildred Letterman, Seymour Lessons, Roy Levine, Rose Lissack, Jack Lovell, James J. McGrath, Carol Macian Maslin, Mimi Maslin, Lowell Thomas McKay, Pearl Meyer, Celia Myers, Elaine Rosenfeld, Gisela Schwartz Rosenheim, Hyman Saul, Maurice Sandler, Irving Schneider, Molly Sentner, Harold Simpson, Mary Singer, Isaac Sokol, Thelma Summerspitz, Arthur Strasberg, Max Warshall, Deborah Weingart, Dorothy Young, Phyllis Young, and Pearl F. Zola. Are there other names that you have come to remember this evening of loved ones that you'd like to share now? At this time, I invite you all to rise, if you are able, so we can say the Kaddish as one temple family. The words are found on page 294. Together we say, Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrah chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman karev v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'mei Almaya Yitparach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei D'Kudusha B'richu Le'elam Mikol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Damiran B'alma V'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom bin Ramav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu ve'al Kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, comfort to us all, to which we say Amen. Amen. 3 short announcements. Number 1, thank you again to our Shabbat sponsors, Beth and Barry Cohen, in honor of Beth's birthday. We have the Race for the Cure coming up. Please join us next Saturday, January 28th, for the Susan G. Komen 2023 More Than Pink Walk. The event is located at the Meyer Amphitheater in West Palm, and you can find these flyers or more information or call the office on Monday if you have questions. Also, join us Friday, February 3rd for Hawaiian Shabbat dinner. Dinner's at 6:30 before services. Reservations are required. Please call the temple office. And as many of you probably noticed, TJ is having a makeover right now. It's underway, and you see that this new landscaping is only possible due to the generous donation from Rita and Bert Tansky, and it is going to be beautiful. It's going to be a facelift for all of us at Temple to beautify on the outside the beautiful prayer and the beautiful community and represent what we do here on the inside. Stay tuned for the big reveal in a few weeks, and we end our services with Ivdu, and may you all have the most beautiful and wonderful Shabbat.
Yivdu, et Adonai b'simcha. Yivdu, et Adonai b'simcha. Bo lefanav, bo lefanav.
turn the lights right here. It's L.
Give me a second. Sure. Give you a minute.
Thank you, Paul.
Yep. Thank you, Paul.